Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Lesmeister, and today I will be explaining the Vee diagram for the no side of Taking Sides issue number 5. The event we will be analyzing throughout this presentation is Chester E. Finn's opinion of faulty engineering, where he believes the public schools have done a poor job of producing students who are good citizens. Which brings us to the focus question. Can public schools actually produce students who are good citizens? According to Finn, the answer to that question is no, but we'll get into that later. Let's move on to the key concepts that you previously heard about through the concept map produced by Danielle Sevchek. These words include public schools, censored people, less intelligent people, immoral people, government, parents, low standards, low behavior standards, low morals, political influence, religious affiliations, less funding, fear of government, government funding, mixed class material, further declining of intelligence, mandatory behavior, controlled thought, and last but not least, Marxism. So now you're probably thinking to yourselves, okay, she's given us all these words, but what in the world do they have to do with the faulty engineering of public schools? In order to fully explain this, we'll have to take a look at the principles and records that are located on the Vee diagram. The first principle states, public schools produce censored people because the government indirectly imposes political influence through the funds they supply to these schools. Finn goes on record saying, because Americans insist that government is the creature of its citizens, we are loath to rely on state decisions and institutions to instruct our children how to think, how to conduct themselves, and what to believe. Principle number 2 says, public schools produce censored people because parents have differentiating religious affiliations and want certain class materials to be omitted from their child's curriculum. Finn goes on record saying, beyond a narrow core of shared beliefs, honesty, tolerance, obeying the law, Americans hold strong but often divergent views about the values they want their children to acquire, and about the role of teachers and schools in inculcating those values. It may, therefore, be impossible for the publicly operated schools of a society that is so diverse to do a good job of forging citizens. Principle number 3 states, public schools produce less intelligent people because of their low standards, which result in further declining of intelligence, fewer teachers, and less funding. Finn goes on record saying, if young people don't know that their state has 2 senators, don't understand the separation of powers, cannot explain the causes of the Civil War, and have difficulty distinguishing the New Deal from a poker game, what chances is there that they are acquiring from the schools anyway an active awareness and commitment to the rights and responsibilities of citizenship? Principle number 4 states, public schools produce immoral people because of low behavior standards and low morals due to their fear of the government that imposes mandatory behavior and controlled thought from the ideas of Marxism. Finn goes on record saying some educators harbor worrisome values, moral relativism, atheism, doubts about the superiority of government, undue deference to the pluribus at the expense of the unum, discomfort with patriotism, cynicism toward established cultural conventions and civic institutions. Transmitting those values to children will gradually erode the foundations of a free society. Now that you have somewhat of a better understanding as to why public schools cannot produce good citizens, we'll move on to the knowledge claim that reads, public schools produce censored, immoral, and less intelligent people, which therefore hinders their ability to produce good citizens. This then leads us to the value claim that good citizens cannot be produced by the public school system. So because of the government's hold on the public schools, they do not have the ability to produce good citizens, which is the theory of the whole Vee diagram. Thank you very much for your time.